All right, y'all, we are live. So if you are watching on Facebook, thank you for tuning in. If you are listening to us on the radio dial, if you are online, thank you for tuning in. But just know that you can always find us online. You can find us on the radio dial. We are here 24/7. You can also go back and listen to all old episodes. So thank you guys for tuning in. So, all right, it's our monthly segment, Self-Love, Self-Care. This time the subtopic is family, holidays, and mental health. So real quick, I'm going to shout out to Miss Shay K for this mix that we playing tonight. Shay K's old school mix. Shout outs to Miss Shay K. You can listen to her every day, Monday through Friday from 7 to 8, and instant replay from 8 to 9, Monday through Friday, Power 106.3 FM. She is our morning show host. So what is cracking? What's going on, baby girl?
Hey. How y'all doing out there?
Yes, y'all. So...
Hey. How y'all doing out there?
Yes, ma'am. So, you listen up, y'all. So, today we're going to, have a little music. We're going to have lots of conversation. I'm here. Oh. So, anyway, y'all. So, real quick. So, we going to talk about a couple things real quick. So... we decided to talk about this because, the holidays are coming up, right? And a lot of people don't realize some of the things that happens when the holidays come around, the season change. There's like lots of stuff that is happening. And so, yeah, I'm hilarious on film. I swear I am. I'm hilarious on film. Okay, so anyway, Begin to Talk LLC is also in the house. I need y'all to tune in Thursday nights, 7 to 8 p.m. here on Power 106.3. She talks all things mental health, love, care, grief, trauma, all of it. All things. So, y'all, she's like, she's like, got the imaginary couch in the radio station, y'all. The imaginary couch is here.
I think we need a couch.
I feel like we kind of do, but then who's going to see it?
Like a long chair.
A chase.
Yes.
That's what they call it. The old, the ladies, they call them chases.
Right.
For them young girls, y'all know what a chase is. I need y'all to look that up.
They looking it up right now.
I need them to look that up. So, anyway, one of the things is I wanted to talk about this is because I know for me personally, I know for my family personally, this is a struggle, especially for family members who deal with mental health issues. A lot of people don't know and don't understand that there's such a thing called seasonal depression. And I know there's another term for it, but
no, that's
what they call. I heard somebody call it something else. They called it almost like a downward, not a downward spiral, but it was something. Basically, that was saying that like down sunners or something.
Sundowner.
Yeah,
a sundowner. That's a little different. That's slightly different than seasonal depression. Sundowning is pretty much, you'll see that a lot in the geriatric population. So if you go in the nursing homes and stuff, you'll see a lot of, not a lot, but some of the residents that may suffer from sundowning. Like after the sun goes down, literally their entire mood changes. And that actually goes to a scientific portion of it where the sun has healing qualities as well, right?
Okay.
So, and anybody on a sunny day can walk outside and feel great, right?
True.
I used to do it on my break. I used to work for Humana for about 7.5 years, right? And I would be having one of those days where I just don't want to talk to anybody, and I would walk outside for 10 minutes and feel the best. So sundowning is a little different.
Okay.
Right? But seasonal depression is just that. And it happens during specific times of the year.
Right.
Or some folks call it the anniversary effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know all about that. Them daggone dates, Jesus. Okay, so with that being said, I think what a lot of people don't realize is grief looks different for everybody. And toxic family relations looks different for everybody. Everybody expects it to look the same, and it does not.
Yeah.
It cannot. And I think that's something that, especially our community, needs to stop saying, oh, well, your family doesn't do this, or your family. Toxicity is toxicity.
Yeah.
You can't tell somebody what their toxic looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like. So that's one thing. I think that we need to learn how to be more compassionate to each other about that, because it is I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah, it is. And then another thing to the previous point that we were talking about, there is another term for it, an actual psychological term. It's called seasonal affect disorder.
Okay.
It's called SAD. That's what they call SAD. And it's a type of depression that's related to changes in the season and begins and ends about the same times, right? So it is, like I said before, kind of like the anniversary.
Gotcha.
So if you want to put a psychological term to it, it's sad. And it literally, it's sad. But seasonal affect disorder is a real thing that some people do suffer from.
Right.
But it is treatable, just like any other disorder.
Okay. So I guess my first question for you would be, how do people prepare themselves better? Like, I guess, like for me, example, I know end of September is the rough start for me. For many reasons. Some of my listeners or followers know my older brother was murdered some years ago, the week before my birthday. So that has never been the same for me, and there's a lot, as my family, they like to tease us Libra babies, but there's a gang of us. There's a whole bunch of us. And that's like the time of the year, because it's a select group of us, but there's so many of us. There's like 25 more than 25 grandkids. There's like 30-something grandkids and great-grands, possibly. There's probably 35 of us, honestly, on my mother's side. So we're spread out. But there's like this little small cluster of us that we're just like the turn-up crew. We're Libras. And for us, Libra season has never been the same. Since. He was murdered, yeah. And there's a lot still kind of happening with that situation. But then my other brother, lost him last year. I lost a friend last year to suicide. My daughter had, as everybody knows, I talk about, her being diagnosed with OCD, which is a real thing, and it does not look stereotypical. It doesn't look like what you see on TVs, the movies. Like me and you talked about it, and you were like, oh wow, she really did. I'm like, yeah, it's the total opposite, and it's still a learning thing. And she's your typical teenager. So it's just one of those things like, okay. So for her, she, was diagnosed because of the PTSD with the seasonal depression. She has recurrent depression, as they like to call it. But seasonally, it's worse. So for her, it's been a real struggle with this time of year, dealing with so much death. She lost her therapy dog the day she had her hand surgery. He literally died the day she had her hand surgery. Right. So end of September through December, that baby can't get a break.
Right. She can't catch a break.
So for her, it's really rough. So for me, as her mom and trying to be there for her, I feel like I don't deal with me because of her. And I know that's not a great thing at all. But it's like I have to be there for my kid, because I know mentally what she's already struggling with is worse for her.
Right.
And I think some people don't realize that just because you deal with it one way doesn't mean somebody else ain't dealing with it in a worse way. So I think what I want to get out to the folk is, bring your mic up. I think what I want for people is to be able to have an honest conversation and say that, okay, this is happening. And yes, you're here, you're above ground, you're okay, but it's okay to say I'm not okay. It's okay to have a moment, and it's okay to recognize it, but also know how to deal with it in a more positive, better way, because this is the time of year people turn into alcoholics. This is the time of year that suicide jumps up. This is the time of year things happen. People put themselves in like really messed up situations, or they do things out of character, which I know me and you're going to touch on that a little bit later on another matter and subject we're going to talk about in Diva Talk time. But right now we're going to stick to the family, holidays, and mental health. So what is a way that you think, some things that people could try to do to identify that the time of year and things that they can do to try to make themselves feel better, besides going out during the sun, which here in Kentucky sucks because it's like before 4 o'clock and not everybody can be outside before 4 o'clock.
And it's cold.
And it's cold outside, y'all.
It's super cold. Like, really. Okay. So you said a lot. So let's unpack it first, right?
Let's go.
Before we give all this great advice to everybody, let's unpack this stuff. Okay, so you said a lot. So
Roster pasta day, y'all. I wasn't missing it.
Yeah. I'm glad that you just eating.
I'm just saying. Hey, look at God, y'all.
High five.
I'm eating food. And I got coffee. Even though I probably don't need coffee, but I've been fighting this head cold for a week now. So I'm glad I'm just even eating and drinking something at this point. And, and standing straight up.
Yeah. Okay, so you said a lot. So let's just unpack that a lot. And, okay. So a lot of heavy stuff has happened with you even during this holiday season, right? Like you said.
But this isn't about me. I was just giving examples.
I know.
But I want people to learn how to recognize. Like, for me, I had to learn to recognize.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of people don't know how to recognize the start or the symptoms or the signs for themselves nor other people. And sometimes people, she acting funny, or you the one distant, or but my thing is, if the only time you talk to somebody is to talk about your problems or what you got going on, you don't really know what's going on with them, how can you be mad? Why would that person feel that they can reach out to you?
Right.
Why?
Right. So you a lot of times, you said a lot, so let's unpack it.
Okay.
So
I'm sure you will.
Right. So So during this holiday season, and even for myself, just like you said before, even for myself, this holiday season, I have to do these types of things that I'm actually going to discuss tonight, because it's very apparent that it doesn't really matter if you're a social butterfly, if you're an extrovert, an introvert, if you are your personality per se, it really doesn't matter the type of person you are. When grief hits, right? And when you have to deal with that during holiday seasons, a lot of times that can be really, really rough. So in order to really dive into what it is that we need to first pay attention to ourselves and listen to ourselves. A lot of times, just like you said before, we are really busy taking care of other people during this season.
Right.
And a lot of times, we don't give enough break and pause for ourselves. And sometimes we can't. Sometimes life just pretty much sucks, right? Sometimes, a lot of different things happen and we can't control this thing called life. We can't control whether, lights are getting cut off, or, bills are due, different types of things. So the holiday season is already stressful for a lot of just regular, everyday people who are just trying to survive, right? So for those types of folks, especially, you all need to give yourself a break, and be okay with not being okay during this season. Recognizing to yourself and saying to yourself that it is okay for me to give myself a break. A lot of times during this season, we don't do that. And especially, all women, all people, all men, are the same way. We have the same type of emotions. We just display them differently. So a lot of times, if you all can find any types of self-help groups or have some type of real support to rally around, this is not the time to isolate. This is the time to surround yourself with loved ones. And as far as other folks are concerned, that want to help out people that are in these type of predicaments,